Friends, hello. Let's talk about Palantir and what's happening here. You know, it's almost sad to see that our little Palantir is not so little anymore, and it's growing up, and it's getting awfully expensive over here in Palantir land. So let's talk about that. Now, obviously, lots of things happening. This is one of the last weeks before Palantir goes to the S&P 500 to be put on there to where it will be in the big leagues, big time. It will be more popular. People will hear about it. Believe it or not, there's probably still people that do not know about Palantir, but there's things, hey, let's talk about. And is there still meat left on the bone here with Palantir? I think that's the big question everyone's asking right now. Like, is Palantir still worth putting your money into right now? Is $35 too expensive? Is it going to go back to $20? Is it going to go to $100? What do we think Palantir is going to do here? So before I yap any more about this, listen, I'm just a guy on YouTube who likes making videos, had some luck in the market, and just a regular person, investor just like you. But this is kind of what I see and what I think is going to happen here and what we're looking at with Palantir going into 2025. So on September 23rd, Palantir will officially be on the S&P 500. So that's going to be big news. So here's probably what's going to happen. You know, Palantir's sitting right under this $35 mark right now. And we're about to see, this is new ground for Palantir. This is new ground right now. We haven't been here in years. This is very, very interesting. The last time Palantir was at a $35 price area was in 2021, which that was a different market, different world, and everything that was going on there. So with that, and Palantir was nowhere near the company it is right now, and the future was not looking the way it was right now. 23rd, Palantir will be on the S&P 500. From there, we could see these next 2 weeks be a gradual climb into $40. That may sound crazy to a lot of people, but you know, I would even take the bottom, the lowest of the bet here, and say that Palantir will easily probably hit $26 to $27 here in the next probably 10 trading days. That's probably going to happen more than not, just going into this S&P 500. Now, it could go much further. That's a small version. Trust me, there's people out there giving much bigger estimates of what they think it's going to do here in the next 2 weeks. So with that, we could see a huge climb here because of the FOMO, because of the excitement in the air with Palantir, and it's exciting. But more than likely, looking into new area, new ground here with Palantir, and then after this S&P 500 inclusion, probably we'll see a general sell-off, but that general sell-off is going to be really interesting because that could be the new playground going into 2025 with Palantir. That could be the new bottom where we're going to see, is it going to be $35, $40, $38, $50? We don't know yet. We just don't know. Now, Alex Karp has been giving interviews a lot here. The past 3 weeks, he's been doing a lot of interviews. And he's been saying some really interesting and positive things about Palantir, obviously. And I like Alex. I know there's people that have their own things to say about him, but if anyone is excited about the future and excited about their company, it's this guy. He is very, very excited, and he says the right stuff, man. He says the stuff to pump you up. And there's so many CEOs that they just suck. When they talk, it's like, it's such a drag. It's such like, why do you mention this? Why didn't you talk about this? Why didn't you talk about the future? Why are you so doom and gloom about your company? It sounds like that's not Alex, man. That is not him whatsoever. 3 things that I've pulled out of a bunch of interviews the past 3 weeks with him is, one, this is one thing that he has said multiple times. Alex does not care who the president is going to be here in 2025. He says it's not going to affect Palantir. It's not going to affect their direction, where anything's going. It doesn't matter at this point. And I think that's pretty safe to say. I know a lot of people are generally concerned about if Trump wins, that it could damage a lot of AI stocks that obviously their main bread and butter are these chips that come from Taiwan, and talking about, Trump is saying that he will put a tax on that. But I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the day. These AI stocks are bringing in money that we've never seen before in companies. So with that, the next thing is, Alex has said this multiple times, he doesn't care about chips. Obviously, Palantir is not in the business of making chips. It is totally not their thing. They make software. It's totally different. With that, this allows Palantir generally have more money in the sense because they're not making a product such as chips. So this does, allow them to not spend massive amounts of money. Now, trust me, they do spend a lot of money, but it's not in the sense of they're having to outsource their products. So that's very positive too. And the next thing that Alex has said quite a bit is that Palantir is killing it in the United States when it comes to deals, which is very positive. And then that's what you want to see. You want to see a company, have a very positive cash flow of their bread and butter be localized, be in the United States, and not, there's a lot of companies that, it's just like NVIDIA when we talk about these chips. The thing with NVIDIA that they rely on is that Taiwan is going to keep making these chips and that they can get the chips. That's why every time, when all this stuff was going on with China, Taiwan, all that kind of stuff, this was hurting some AI stocks like that. So those things could come up again in the future. They very well could. That's not what we're seeing with Palantir, and we're not going to see that with Palantir. So the main thing to look at right now with Palantir is that, since this announcement with Palantir, it went from just a basic $30 jumping up to $35 pretty much. We'll just round it up here. So just on the announcement alone of Palantir going to 35, going on the S&P 500 from 30 to 35, that was just that. So it's going to be very interesting the week of the 23rd here when we see Palantir actually be included into the S&P 500, especially that week. What will Palantir land at? Will it continue to go up here? Is this going to be something that just rolls here very hard into the next 2 weeks? Possibly could be. Now, obviously, too, this couldn't come at a better time because the market just days from now will be going into a rate cut. So that will put some blood in the market. That's going to be really good for the market. So honestly, there's a lot of positives going on right now in the market at the moment. Inflation rate came out. It was actually good, surprisingly. I think we all thought it was going to be another bloodbath. It was not a bloodbath. It was actually decent. So that's why the market has rebounded here a little bit. And we're starting to get some numbers back. We're starting to get some money back. And we're not so much bag holding, at least today, as bad as we were just 5 days ago. So friends, listen, talking about what is left here with Palantir, is there meat left on the bone with Palantir? Is this worth putting money into? Is $35 too much to spend on it? If you're buying Palantir for the long run, if you're buying Palantir to go into the next decade, the next 5-10 years with Palantir, obviously no. Buying Palantir at 35 to 30, 35, I would say even $40. If you're holding it, to me, it's not a problem. Look at it as a bank account. Look at it as a savings account. Look at it this way. There's other AI companies right now that are overvalued, and they're not doing the numbers that Palantir is projected to do next year. So Palantir is still undervalued in a sense, and that's why the price is probably, last year we had huge push up in price. This whole year has been a huge push up in price, but going into this new year, we're probably going to see even more of a push-up. My projections are little compared to what a lot of other people are saying. People are saying Palantir is going to be $500 here by 2026. Is that possible? Absolutely, it's possible because we know there's no real boundaries right now on these AI stocks. They're breaking the rules. They're breaking, history. A lot of these companies, kind of the same genre of company, we've never seen so many of them bring in so much revenue and generally just control the overall market. Now that you have S&P on the, now that you have Palantir on the S&P 500, Palantir is going to be a big deal on there. That's going to be a really, really big deal. So buying at $30, $35, I'm still buying. I have Palantir in a few different accounts, and I have it at a cheaper rate here, a middle rate here, and then, just extra money that comes into my hands. I buy more Palantir in this account and just look at it as a savings account because I know that within the next year, Palantir it's not gonna stop. I think that's the main thing of the whole gist of it. Palantir is not gonna stop moving up. It's just not. There's no reason for it to stop moving up. We've already seen what's projected into the future here, just in 2025 alone with Palantir, with what's coming. Even the next 2 quarterlies are going to be huge. It's going on for a company to be put on the S&P 500. That means they're doing something right. It means that there's bigger and better things to come. They just don't put companies on the S&P 500 It's a big deal. So friends, if you're worrying about Palantir, is it going to go down? Is it going to sell off? I would probably think the opposite. I would probably look at this and go $35. That's incredibly cheap to where it's going to be maybe even 5 months from now. Friends, I wish all of you the best of luck. I really do mean that. And take care of yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.